Zack, I don't know what's been going on, but lately I've had to apologize to my guests here on America's Dance 30, and I think I need to apologize to you. But first of all, Zack, Zeds Dead, welcome to America's Dance 30 for the first time.
What's up, everyone?
It is an honor finally meeting you. Now, before we chat all about your smash Vertigo, and before we get to know Zeds Dead a little better, do you know why I need to apologize to you?
You've been saying the name of the album wrong?
Wait, what? What have I been saying wrong? Wait a second.
That was a guess.
No, so a couple of weeks ago, I got a random text from a phone number that wasn't in my contacts. And all the text said was, "Yo, what's up? It's Zack from Zeds Dead. How's it going? I was wondering if you checked out our track Vertigo," and it had a Spotify link. And all I did was reply, "Hi, Zack," with a laughing emoji. Because in this day and age of spoof texts, I'm like, there's no way Zeds Dead is texting me. Was it you or was it the label?
No, that was me, doing my part to beg you to play our song.
Well,
I will do anything. I don't care. You're like, this song has a chance. I was like, give me his number.
Well, I really appreciate that, and I apologize for somewhat blowing you off. Like I said, I thought it was the label texting me.
No, I told him, I was like, anything you need me to do, and I mean anything.
Well, I really appreciate that, Zack. Congratulations on this smash Vertigo.
Thank you. I just find that the process is very hands-off for me when it comes to like promoting songs. Like they'll be like, "Oh, we're trying to get people to put this in playlists and stuff." And I was like, I never like hit people up personally. And I was like, maybe I need to do this more. I don't know.
Well, as a programmer, I will say I appreciate that. It's awesome getting a personal text, but it was just so out of the blue that I had no idea.
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of your text either. I was just like, maybe that's all I need to do.
Well, I appreciate that. I can't wait to talk about how this song was born. But first, let's get to know Zeds Dead a little better with Finky's firsts.
Okay.
You don't seem confident about that.
It could go bad. Who knows?
So I always love finding out the origin story of artists. When you were growing up, was music the first thing that you wanted to get into, or was there something else you wanted to be when you were growing up?
Yeah, there was a number of things. I was very into graffiti and art, and I would do that a lot. I didn't know where that was going to head. I mean, I took some typography classes and web design. I thought maybe some of the graphic design stuff could translate. I was really into the idea of making like sketch comedy or like movies or I would shoot videos with my friends, a lot of which unfortunately are lost, which sucks. But so I went to school for like communications, and at the same time I was making music, and I'd been making music for like years before that. But basically the music thing kind of we had our manager sort of cold called all these people in the UK to try and get us the bookings, and he sort of put together this tour for us, and it was right around when like the exam time was, and I just never went, and then never went back to school.
Wow. Well, I'm glad it parlayed into music.
Yeah, I mean, I was making music throughout like I don't know when I started. I was a teenager. I started playing guitar, and then I got GarageBand right around when that came out, and yeah, then met Dylan, and he was using Fruity Loops, and then I switched to that, and yeah, then we started a project together called Mass Productions, and we were making like hip hop records, and that was around like 2005 or something, and then 2008 or 9, I think, is when we started getting into electronic music and doing Zeds Dead.
Well, congratulations on just recently celebrating 15 years of Zeds Dead. That's amazing.
Yeah, wow.
Now, it's well known that the name Zeds Dead comes from a line in Pulp Fiction, but you mentioned Mass Productions when you were making the switch to another name. Was Zeds Dead the first choice, or were there other names you were considering?
It basically just happened out of one brainstorm session. I mean, there's other people had suggested a few names, but nothing was, compelling. It sort of came out of thinking of names that had the letter Z and the letter D, and I was sort of just saying them fast, like Zack Dylan, like, and it was just like Zeds Dead, and we're like, well, we both really like that movie, and it kind of, I mean, the movie and like Quentin Tarantino and his way of sort of like paying homage to older movies and that kind of sampling and the music selections, I feel like actually, had a lot to do with what we did, moving forward as well, and even now. So,
well, it's such an iconic name. I'm glad you guys decided on it. Now, I knew that we were going to get along well because you guys are from Toronto. I was actually born in Montreal. Do you remember the first time realizing that you guys were getting popular outside of Canada, in the States and around the world?
I mean, we got posted on some YouTube accounts and some blogs and stuff. That was sort of a realization. There were a few moments. I mean, like the Eyes on Fire track blowing up, we were just like watching the numbers go up, and it was like when it hit like 1 million and then like 10 million, and that was, crazy. Like the first time we went to Denver was interesting because it was like I didn't know anything about the city, and it was probably the biggest show of that tour, which was pretty small at the time, but they were singing along to everything, and that was unusual. And I was like, oh, we actually have like people that know these songs, like a lot of them. I mean, just being able to tour the States, I was feeling like something was going well. And then even before that, we had a weekly party we would throw, or a bi-weekly party called Bass Mentality. And when we did the first show, like no one was there. Like the second show, no one, like hardly any people. But like after a few months and us putting some tracks out, like it would be lined up down the block, and like we had to move to a bigger venue. So that was kind of, they're all like little moments where you have like kind of a realization that something's happening.
That's incredible. Well, in 15 plus years of Zeds Dead, you guys have obviously had some amazing songs. Do you remember the first time hearing one of your songs on the radio?
It would have been on BBC. This DJ Kissy Cello was a fan of ours, and he had a show on BBC, and he was playing our stuff. And then we found out like Scream played something on the radio, and then like Diplo played something on the radio, and I didn't actually hear those live, but like I heard about them. Lost You is probably the only song of ours that got significant radio play, which is interesting. I mean, like we have like, we do pretty big shows and we have almost no radio songs. So I always thought that was pretty interesting and unexpected, but yeah, we never really make songs with that in mind also, but Lost You, for whatever reason, started getting significant support. And I remember like, hearing it in the car and stuff. That was pretty cool.
Well, let's hope Vertigo changes all that for you.
Yeah.
Finally, in Finky's first, in honor of this smash Vertigo, what's the first thing that makes you dizzy?
Getting up too fast.
Complete side note, I don't know if you know this, and I found out the hard way. Did you know that guys can suffer from something when you get up too fast to go to the bathroom, that you can pass out?
No, I didn't know. I mean, I have passed out once or twice.
Oh, my God. Well, it happened to me, and when I went to the doctor and I told them, I was getting up in the middle of the night and I just got up and went to the bathroom and I actually passed out, they told me that there's actually a condition that when guys get up too fast, now when I wake up, I have to sit at my bed for like 5 seconds just to chill and then get up. It's insane.
It's a good decision.
Yes, absolutely.
Better safe than sorry.
I don't need my cat having to call 911 for me. Exactly. Let's talk about this smash. How was Vertigo born?
Well, we had this beat that we liked, and we knew it was the sort of beat that needed a vocal. And then we happened to be in the studio with Naomi Wild, and she liked it, and she started writing to it, and we were kind of collaborating a little on the lyrics with her, and it was a cool process, just like we wrote that whole song that day and recorded it, and it really didn't change that much from the studio session. Like we added like a little guitar to it, but it was kind of like an indie rock sort of feeling track with a little electronic feel. And we tried doing it in a bunch of different ways after that, because we were wondering, if it would sound better, maybe like as a house song or like an electro track. And, we just kept coming back to the first version. So that's sort of how it happened.
Well, she sounds amazing on it. How long ago did you guys start working on it?
Yeah, it feels like that was a long time. That was one of the older written songs from the album. It was always like in the back of playlists of an eventual album for a long time, and it actually just made it all the way. I want to say we recorded that in like 2019.
Shut up! Oh my God, that's insane!
It could have been 2021, but I have to double check. I really should have researched this. Normally, I'm the one that says that. Like we kept feeling like maybe it could be better or something. Like we knew it had a lot of potential, and we loved it. But sometimes when something has so much potential, you can never stop like scratching that itch of like, can I, does it fulfill its potential? Does it need like another hook? Does it need like does it need to drop or something, like all these questions? So then we basically like went down all of those avenues to satisfy those curiosities, and came back and we're like, the original is the best one. Like there's none of these versions are better. So
now, do you guys have a lot of songs that you hold on to for a long time?
Yes. I mean, we have songs that have been around for a really long time. There's sort of like a limit. I feel like after about 10 years, they start to leave my memory and playlists. And, there's very few of the really old ones that are still in the mix. Some of them are in like a playlist for something that's like a lost tapes we did, whereas like beats that never came out that are old, because some things sound dated to me and they're not exciting anymore. I tend to get excited about something that I'm working on now, but then like, you need to finish stuff that you still think is good and try to put out your best work.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations on Vertigo. You mentioned the album that just came out back in March. You guys are on your North American tour right now. What else is going on for Zeds Dead?
Yeah, I mean, like we've been working like round the clock for the last couple of years to make the best album that we could, and to finish it, and to make that movie that went along with it, and the live show that we do. So right now I'm kind of just figuring out what to do next, and enjoying a little bit of time after the album. I've been working on some music, but mostly for the show. I feel like it's kind of like during the week, thinking about the show that we're going to play the next weekend and how we can make that more unique. And we just played in Toronto, and we made like a very Toronto specific intro song that had like all the names of the streets and areas and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of like very show focused, and we're trying to see what more live instrumentation we can bring to the show, because it was all kind of like we started the tour, and we had basically like a week in between, like a week or two in between finishing the album and figuring out what the show was going to be. But we still had a lot of ammo from our live show that we've been developing for years, but we just want to make it a little more like album focused and have some more routines that highlight the songs on the album.
Well, congratulations on everything that's been going on for Zeds Dead. Before I let you go, we've got a new feature on America's Dance 30 where I ask ChatGPT a question that Zeds Dead has never been asked before. And it's funny, it's spit back. That's going to be tough because they've been asking a lot of questions. If your bass lines could physically manifest into creatures, what would the creatures look like and how dangerous would they be?
I'm immediately thinking like some sort of lizard for some reason. I'm going with the first thought that came to my head, and they would be pretty dangerous. I'm thinking venomous, potentially lethal. You're gonna need to suck the blood out of your foot if you go.
But only out of your foot.
Yeah.
Zack, Zeds Dead, thank you so much for your time with us on America's Dance 30.
Thank you.